it is very, very possible that we might be seeing the most important signal for the Bitcoin BULAs of the year 2025 right in front of our very faces. Of course, we'll get into that signal and what will confirm it a little bit later into this video. However, I do want to start off this video, as always, with a very quick 5-second analysis on the most important points for Bitcoin. As long as Bitcoin is below the March 6th high, the same thing that we've been looking at for about a week and a half now, actually a couple weeks now, 2-3 weeks now. As long as Bitcoin's below there, still overall downtrend, meaning that it must be a bearish bias, at least for myself on a channel like this. Doesn't mean that Bitcoin can't pop back above there. And again, the signal that we'll be speaking about later, I mean, could very well be the catalyst for that. But as of right now, that is still a very, very important pivot. And personally, I do have to be massively skeptical as long as Bitcoin is still below there, pending these other signals in the background, which we'll get into soon enough. But I do want to let you know that you can still get 20% off for any one of the programs or services in our Teachable link in the description below. With the code year7, because it's our 7th year anniversary. Year, by the way, is in all capitals, and then it's just the number 7. And that'll apply to anything that you see here. And then, of course, you can actually try out the Quant Prime, the Caretaker's full indicator bundle suite, which is completely new, by the way, as well. The VMP, and even the Quantum Wave Bands, which is kind of like a done-for-you scalping strategy. You can try any one of those for free for the first 30 days for any new user with the code TRIAL in all capitals. All right, let's get into the big signal of the day. Okay, prepare yourselves. This one I do think is rather powerful. So the daily time frame for the hash rooms indicator is now hinting at a blue buy signal. Now, is this confirmed as of right now? Fuck no. Okay, I want to be super fucking clear in stating this. 1, this is unconfirmed, and 2, even if it does confirm later tonight, it is not an immediate call to action. It does not mean to long your longs and long your fucking bunghole into your brain and then spit it out again. I don't know. It is essentially an indication that we have a pretty powerful setup. Still, there can be some short-term downside, but it should be an opportunity. And of course, these signals can also fail as well. So 1, first needs to confirm. So that means that Bitcoin needs to hold here or higher at about $87,000 by the end of day. If that happens, I expect that it very likely will confirm, but we will confirm the confirmation tomorrow on our live stream. And then from there, again, it is not an immediate call to action to buy. These things can fail, 1, and then 2. Bitcoin could theoretically come all the way back down to this last prior massive low from March 10th, where Bitcoin traded all the way down to 76,700. What this setup would imply, or at least the reason why I focus a lot on this whenever it does happen, is that anytime that we have seen that blue buy signal, the prior trending higher low for Bitcoin was essentially the low before never going below it ever again. That has been very consistent amongst, I believe, about 20 iterations of this, and only only 3 or 4 of them have actually failed. I think it's actually 3 out of 20. So a rather high hit rate there, but not 100%. Of course, nothing's 100%, but something that I like to pay attention to. So again, if and when this does print, then it will mark this low as that very important low, meaning that we should not be expecting any closures below there. It would imply if we do see a closure below 76,700, the current low from March, then I would be expecting significant more amounts of downside. I would go as far to say that bull market is over, and that would be very compelling to me. But for right now, it's a possibility. It's not in there just yet, but if and when it does fire off, well, that is going to be quite compelling amongst other things that we're about to get into. Now, I also want to go over here and check out our Tether dominance chart. Our Tether dominance chart, by the way, is still putting in this lower high that we were looking at, especially on the weekly, compared to the high that we saw from September of 2024 when Bitcoin had that major move to the downside and then quickly recovered. Now, this is getting not just rejected as far as like a candle perspective, but also it is a rejection of that white 200 moving average. So it is being respected as of now. And it is also coming alongside of confirmed hidden bearish divergence here on the weekly time frame. So I am looking at this as also rather compelling, because the idea is that when stablecoin dominance goes down, what does that imply? It implies that cryptos, namely Bitcoin, go up. Well, at least that's what we want. And you will notice that all long-term rallies for Bitcoin do correspond to downtrends for our stablecoin dominance charts. But yeah, looking at this here, I still think that this one has further down to go. I do think that you will see at least a move in the not so distant future back below 5%, maybe closer to like 580, 585 region. 480 to 45. Perhaps a bounce there, but if things break down further from there, well, that's probably a great catalyst for Bitcoin, I suspect. So we'll see. Of course, the monthly closure is coming in soon enough as well. And as of right now, I would still look at that as a rejection of the 21. Unfortunately, it is not accompanied by hidden bearish divergence on the monthly time frame as well. So that's only present on the weekly, meaning that I really am not looking for this to like trend to new lows, to be honest. So I do still think that even in the most bullish of scenarios, this market does, have a timer on it, and it's not like super long. Anyways, yes. Okay. So we've got through that. We've gone through that. Let's get into some setups with some statistics over here. We can check out the meta signal setup. This one we're following up on the 8-hour time frame. Meta signals fired this off for free in their Discord, which by the way you can find a link to in the description below. You can even get a free trial to their service as well. And target 1 has already been hit. I mean, we already knew that, but target number 2 getting quite close there, just below $90,000. And again, target number 2 is around about a 50% probability. So looking at Bitcoin, already around that last swing high from last week, it does look like that does have a decent chance to be hit. On top of that, we can see that the daily time frame still has its signal in play as well. It has not actually hit target number 1 officially just yet. Target number 1 is at 88,100. Target number 1 also has a relatively high hit rate. Again, not 100%, but very high 60%, which, that is 88,100, which would be a higher high than what we saw from last week. At that point, I do think that Bitcoin gets a free ride around about $90,000. But here's the problem. If and when Bitcoin does rally up to $90,000, so I'm taking a hypothetical here, although I do think it's, probably likely, that is exactly where you would be expecting a rejection if this thing is going to continue with its downtrend and have another try at least, to low 80s or upper 70s. It would be like perfectly right fucking here. So if you do see a rally around there and then a quick rejection and Bitcoin turns back down around, especially if Bitcoin comes back down, I would imagine below like today's low, that would be rather compelling for downtrend still intact. I mean, it's not rather compelling, it's confirmation of downtrend still intact, and get ready for a run, at or near the lows. So yes, that is still in there right now. And of course, this is something that I pointed out, I believe on Twitter, but or X or whatever the fuck you call it nowadays. But the daily RSI for Bitcoin has been getting rejected right around this 51 read since when? Since February 3rd. So all of these lower highs throughout the past couple months now are correlating to that read on the daily RSI. It looks like it will have a chance to break it today. Now that again needs to be fully confirmed and would imply that Bitcoin, really realistically needs to close above about $87,000. But it's going to be a possibility. Until then, however, like I said, it is a little bit concerning because again, Bitcoin is in a downtrend here. $90,000 is exactly where you'd be expecting, a trending lower high to emerge from if Bitcoin is indeed going to be bearish. And you're seeing this, at the same levels that we have seen all of the rejections for the past couple months now, really realistically since the downtrend like really got underway. On top of that, or sorry, not on top of that, but on the other side. So now I want to be providing a little bit or speaking a little bit more towards the hopium because there are several things going on in the background that I think are really, really interesting here. All right. So first thing that we will call out here is again, the 5-day time frame. The 5-day time frame on the HPDRO, representing directional volatility indicator. And anytime that we've seen the HPDRO on the 5-day get around to -50 or Nonetheless, well, that has been all of the major lows throughout this bull market cycle, actually. And what do you know? With our current 5-day, we're seeing this one turn around again from about the same area. Yes, this one did trade lower than the rest. So, I mean, maybe that's a signal in and of itself. I mean, maybe that is a signal that, this is actually a complete change of behavior. Definitely possible there. But for right now, if you are bullish, my point is that I'm starting to switch on to, I'm starting to switch over to, look, if you're bullish, I would not expect lower than whatever March lows we have already. Before I was saying Bitcoin can maybe come down to like low 70s, upper 60s. That I have to revise now and update because of the new information that we have, meaning that, again, if Bitcoin were to get down there, I mean, there's probably bounces along the way, but to me, that's cycle over territory. Pack up your bags for like a year or two, something like that. But yeah, for right now, this would be certainly more on the bullish side, and seen as that HP to row continues to move up here, as long as that is positively angled, I mean, I kind of have to be favoring upside as well, at least in the short term. Again, to $90,000 doesn't really change anything, but it's a nice move. On top of that, we also called out, I believe, over this past weekend or last week, or maybe over the past couple weeks, the 5-day trend line on the stochastic momentum oscillator, which has been getting all of these major lows since 2022, actually. Now, not all of these are like, low, like higher lows in a bull market. Like several of these actually happened, or a couple of these actually happened during the bear market, but they did get really, really big bounces when that trend line was tested. I mean, this one over here was a 50% bounce or more. This one over here, about 30 to 40%, I believe. And then of course, more recently on this iteration, that was, just, that was just a very easy higher low, I suppose. And seeing as it is going to have a chance to, I mean, it is already testing this regression, but seeing as it has a chance to actually turn up and flip that momentum, that would suggest that the trend line is still getting respected, is still getting played, and we will see it officially turn up if Bitcoin can close above 83,200 on the next 5-day period, which ends in about 2.5 days. Oh, by the way, there's the there are the codes. maybe I put it on the wrong chart, huh? Anyways, yes, okay. So we spoke about all of that, but at the end of this video, I do want to just reiterate reasons to still be cautious. Again, as long as Bitcoin's below March 6th high, trend is not your friend to the upside. $90,000 is exactly where you'd be expecting a lower high if Bitcoin is going to actually reject. As long as Bitcoin's especially below 90, I would be heavily skeptical. And then again, this blue buy signal over here is not confirmed as of right now. And even when it does confirm, let's say it hypothetically confirms tonight, it is not an immediate call to action. It just means that, or it just would imply that this low here is unlikely to be closed under. And if Bitcoin does close under it, then it's a extremely strong signal that we're going to see much further south. Again, there's going to be bounces along the way, but that'd be extremely concerning to myself at least. So yeah, that's all that I have for today. Again, something that we've been waiting for quite some time. Maybe we end up waiting even longer, but this timing does feel about right. The reason why I say this timing feels about right is because on average, the amount of days between the first capitulation signal to the buy signal is just under 42 days. And our first capitulation signal came way the hell on over here. And we are on day number what? We are on day number 48. So I would say that's right around the average. And we do expect some variance there. So, that's fine. Anyways, we'll update on it tomorrow, see what's confirmed, see where Bitcoin's at. Still, though, I really feel the need to reiterate caution as long as these conditions are not met, at least for myself. Again, if you're a more long-term investor, I did buy close to $80,000, but that's like, multi-year hold. If you're a trader, I think it's still wise to be a little bit prudent here. Not saying that it can't reverse, just we want to see confirmation of reversal first, at least as traders, to trade the more high probability side. So that's where we'll end things for today. As always, I want to wish everyone the best of the best. We'll be back on with another live stream analysis tomorrow. As always, wishing you the best of the best. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Tuesday.